He said he just needed a place to sleep for one night. I believed him. But when I woke up at midnight, I learned nothing was what it seemed. Not even family. My name is Lena Carter. I'm a nurse in a small Ohio town, and I take care of strangers every day, but I never thought I'd need to protect myself from my own blood. The knock at midnight. I was about to lock the front door when I heard the knock. Soft, almost polite, but desperate. I hesitated before opening it. Evan stood there. My stepbrother. We hadn't spoken in years, not since Mom's funeral when he left without saying goodbye. He smiled, that old crooked grin. "Hey, Lena, I lost my job. Needed a place to crash for the night." He looked thinner, almost fragile, with tired eyes and a scruffy beard. The cold air behind him bit my skin, and guilt tugged at me for even thinking of saying no. "Just one night?" I asked. "Just one," he promised. I let him in. He dropped his duffel bag by the couch, glancing around like he was remembering something. I made tea, trying not to notice how his gaze lingered on Mom's framed photo by the stairs. "You kept it all the same," he said. "Yeah, some things don't change." But I felt the lie burn at the edge of my throat. Everything had changed. The woman in the photo was gone, and the peace she left behind was fading fast. I didn't know it then, but letting Evan back inside my home meant letting darkness back into my life. Old photos on the table, morning came cold and gray. I found Evan at the kitchen table, staring at a pile of Mom's old photo albums. His face was unreadable. "She looked happiest here," he said softly, pointing to a picture of us laughing in the backyard. I nodded. "Did you ever talk to the lawyer? About her will?" His head jerked up. His expression shifted, sharp and hard in a breath. "Why?" "I just thought you might want to know what she left." "The house," he said too quickly. "That's what she left you." The way he said it chilled me. His tone wasn't jealous. It was controlled, almost rehearsed. I tried to smile it off. "It's just an old house, Evan." "Not to everyone," he replied and stood abruptly, pacing toward the window. The furnace hummed, but I felt cold spreading through the room. Something in his eyes told me he wasn't here out of love, or even nostalgia. His gaze drifted back to the photo, and I caught it, the flicker of anger beneath the surface. That night, I double-checked the locks for the first time in years. The locked drawer. By evening, I noticed my bedroom key missing. I brushed it off, thinking maybe I'd misplaced it. But when I tried to open the drawer with Mom's papers, it wouldn't budge, locked tight. There were soft, scraping sounds in the hallway that night, metal on wood. I froze in bed. Through the sliver of light under my door, I saw a shadow move, slow, deliberate. My breath shallowed. "Evan," I called quietly. No answer. The shadow lingered a moment too long, then slipped away. I waited until morning before checking. Nothing looked touched, but my instincts screamed otherwise. Evan was in the living room, cooking breakfast like nothing had happened. "Sleep okay?" he asked, his smile a little too much. "Mostly," he laughed. "You always were the jumpy one." I forced a smile back, but my nails dug into my palm. I knew what I'd heard. That night, I decided I'd find out what he was really after, no matter what it took. Whispers between walls. It was past midnight when I heard his voice again. Low, but sharp. I pressed my ear to the thin wall separating my room from the living room. He was on the phone. "She won't fight back," he said. "I'll handle the papers. Just be ready." My stomach twisted. The name Lena came next, spoken like a problem to solve. Over and over, the word share echoed in the quiet. I strained to catch the other voice on the call, deep and muffled. Couldn't make out the words, only the tone, cold, impatient. Whoever it was, they were waiting for Evan. When the call ended, footsteps approached my door. I backed away and crawled into bed, pretending to sleep. The handle rattled once, lightly, then nothing. My heart thudded through the night silence. For the first time, I felt afraid of my own family. The missing document. Morning arrived heavy and wrong. The folder with Mom's will was gone. I tore through drawers, files, even the hall cabinet where I kept important letters. Empty. "Evan," I said, forcing calm, "have you seen Mom's papers? They were right here." He looked up from his coffee, face blank. "You sure you didn't misplace them?" "I'm sure." He frowned, pretending to think. Maybe Mom changed her mind before she died. She always worried about being fair. Something inside me cracked, quietly but deeply. He watched me too closely, as if studying how much I knew. "Relax, Lena," he said. "It's only paper." I nodded, though rage burned in my chest. Only paper. Only the last thing Mom left me. I waited until he stepped outside to make a phone call before slipping into his room. His duffel bag sat open again, half zipped like it was waiting for me. That's when I knew. I wasn't just being paranoid. Evan hadn't come for shelter. He'd come for what was mine, a hidden folder. Evan took a shower after lunch. I stood outside the bathroom door, listening to the steady rush of water, adrenaline flooding my veins. His duffel bag sat unzipped by the couch. My hands shook as I knelt beside it. Inside were socks, old receipts, and a thin brown folder with my name written on the front. For a moment, I couldn't move. Then curiosity overpowered fear. I opened it. Mom's handwriting filled the pages, letters I had never seen, along with legal documents. My eyes scanned the top line, property transfer agreement. The words blurred as the truth sank in. The signature at the bottom looked like mine, but it wasn't. He had forged it. My breath caught as I flipped another page. A sale agreement. Evan had already sold the house to someone else. I pressed a hand to my mouth, heart hammering. The water stopped upstairs. Footsteps on tile. Panic jolted me. I stuffed the folder back, barely zipping the bag when he came down, towel around his neck. He looked at me too long. "Everything okay?" he asked. "Fine," I lied, voice trembling slightly. He smiled, that eerie calmness back in place. "Good. We both deserve peace." Peace. The word curdled in my throat. I had proof now, but I'd have to play it smart. That night, I watched him from the darkened hallway as he scrolled through his phone, whispering to someone again. Then he laughed, low and cruel. I tightened my grip on Mom's old cross necklace. For the first time, I whispered a promise to myself. I would make him pay. Blood ties, broken lines, ornate some sunlight spilled across the kitchen floor, warm and innocent. It didn't match how I felt. I waited until Evan poured his coffee before dropping the folder on the table. He froze. "Where did you get that?" "Doesn't matter," I said. "You forged my signature." His face went pale, then tightened into fury. "You don't understand. Mom, she wanted me to fix her mistakes." "What mistakes?" I snapped. "Loving you?" He slammed his mug down so hard it cracked. "You think she never told me how much she regretted leaving things uneven?" His eyes burned with something feral. "I was her son too." "You were her project," I shot back. "And you failed." Silence followed, heavy and dangerous. Evan's jaw clenched. For a second, I thought he might hit me, but then he just smiled, a thin, bitter curve of his mouth. "You'll see," he said softly. "I'm just finishing what she started." He reached for the folder. I grabbed it first and backed away. "Don't come closer," I warned. Our eyes locked. Something inside me broke open. Years of guilt, of trying to keep family peace. "No more." He took a small step forward. I ran to my room and locked the door behind me. My pulse thundered against the wood. I heard him outside, breathing hard, but he didn't knock. Instead, he whispered, "You'll regret this." And then he laughed. I leaned against the door, shaking. Mom's last gift had turned into a weapon. But this time, it would be mine. Midnight confession. I didn't sleep. Around midnight, I crept into the hallway, listening. Evan's voice carried through the dark, muted, but clear enough. He was talking to someone again. "She's got the papers," he said. "But it's fine. I'll get them before morning. Just have the buyer ready." My breath hitched. He wasn't done. "I'm not staying here another night. You'll have the deed soon. Don't worry." His words hit like ice. That was all I needed. Quietly, I took my phone, slid it into record mode, and placed it on the table edge behind him. I listened to every poisonous word spill from his mouth. "You lied to me," I said suddenly, stepping into the light. He spun around, eyes wide. "Lena, put that down." I didn't. "You came for the house, not me, not Mom's memory, just money." He tried to grab the phone. I lifted it out of reach. "She didn't owe you anything, Evan. You threw away every chance she gave you." "That's your version," he said bitterly. "Mine's just survival." For a second, I saw fear behind his anger, like something inside him cracked. I stepped back, my voice steady. "You'll pay for what you did." He glared, realization dawning. "You recorded me?" "I did," I said quietly. "And tomorrow I'll make sure everyone hears it." His face twisted in rage, but he didn't move. I turned and walked to my room, locking the door. Through the thin walls, I heard him muttering to himself. The night stretched long and heavy, but I wasn't afraid anymore. This was the beginning of the end, the setup. The next day dawned cold and gray, perfect for what I had planned. I called the number from Evan's phone log, pretending to be him. The buyer answered, deep voice sharp. "Everything ready?" he asked. "Yeah," I said, forcing Evan's tone. "Meet me at the house tonight, just before dusk." When the call ended, I went straight to the sheriff's office in town. I told them everything about the forged signature, the threats, and the recording. They took the phone and made copies. "We'll be there," one of them promised. By late afternoon, the sky turned orange over the old property Mom left. I drove out first, unlocked the door, and left all the proof, the letters, the copies of the sale papers, on the table. My hands trembled, but my heartbeat was steady. As the sun dipped, Evan's car rolled onto the gravel drive. Another vehicle followed, the buyer. They both got out, talking quickly, unaware of the patrol cars parked along the back road. Evan's face stiffened when he saw me standing in the doorway. "What did you do?" he hissed. "Just what Mom taught me," I said softly. "Tell the truth." Flashing lights broke the evening air a moment later. The officers emerged, weapons low but ready. Evan turned, tried to bolt, but the buyer froze, shouting something at him. Everything unraveled at once. I stood still, watching my stepbrother trip and fall as they cuffed his wrists. His eyes met mine once, a flash of regret, or maybe hate. I couldn't tell. By nightfall, the cars were gone and the house was quiet again. For the first time all week, I breathed deeply and didn't feel afraid. One night, forever changed. They kept Evan in custody that night. I stayed home, sitting at the kitchen table where everything started. The silence felt strange, peaceful yet hollow. The old house no longer seemed haunted by him. When morning light poured through the window, I made tea and read Mom's letters one last time. She'd written about wanting us both to find our way, to forgive each other someday. I smiled sadly. She'd meant well, but she never knew what Evan had become. I placed the letters into a small wooden box, the one she'd given me on my 18th birthday, and slid it under my bed. It belonged there, safe, private, at rest. Outside, the world felt new. The autumn air smelled of rain and fresh leaves. I walked out to the porch, the same place where Evan had arrived just days ago. His shadow no longer lingered there. Later, the sheriff called to say Evan confessed everything, the forgery, the sale, even the threats. He said he thought the house was rightfully his, the sheriff told me. He was wrong, I whispered. That evening, I sat by the window with a single lamp glowing. The quiet hum of the heater filled the house. I no longer felt like the woman who'd opened her door to a stranger she once called family. Sometimes love can blind you. Sometimes blood means nothing. But truth can set you free. When I finally went to bed, the rain started to fall outside, steady and soft. I closed my eyes and let it lull me into the first peaceful sleep I'd had in years. That night, I dreamed of Mom, smiling again, proud, forgiven.